continue with SQL, and then like we're talking a little bit earlier just now, right? The big picture, right? Uh, a lot of data is sitting in databases, all right? And SQL is um, pretty much the standard language to get stuff out of databases, and that's why we're learning SQL, all right? Some nice things about databases is that you don't have to worry about being limited by memory size because data would spill over to disk, and we'll handle that transparently for you, and you don't have to worry about that, right? So the idea then is that we're going to pull, that most likely you're going to need to pull data from a SQL database, some kind of a relational database, into your Python, not to work on it, not to analyze it. And that's why you need to learn SQL. Another reason that I like to use SQL here is that I like to do a lot of the sort of basic data subsetting and data manipulation, if I can, in SQL, and avoid writing Python code for that stuff. And SQL is pretty nice for doing some of that stuff, right? Filtering out rows, filtering out columns, doing joins, um, and again, that's a big reason why it's good to learn SQL, and why SQL skills is one of the highly sought after skills in data science, field of data science as well, right? Just because just a lot of data sits in SQL databases. Okay, let me maybe not go into presentation mode, but just because we just only have a few slides to go before we sort of start writing SQL queries um, for a little bit, and then we will come back to slides for a little bit on the aggregation part, and then we'll go back to SQL queries again. Okay, so that should hopefully keep everyone from falling asleep, hopefully. Okay, last time I stopped here, right? So union, intersect, and except. This roughly corresponds to set union, set intersection, and set difference. All right. So and the reason why these operators are there is that we often think of tables as sets of tuples or sets of rows. All right. Now the way SQL queries are designed is that it takes in tables and it spits out tables. All right, which means that results of SQL queries are also sets of tuples. Which means then you can actually do union on them, or intersection on them, or set difference on them. All right. The the only rule is that the schemas have to be what's called union compatible. It means the schemas have to be the same, pretty much. At least in terms of types, types have to be compatible, right? If it's a numeric type, it needs to be, if that field, so the second field is numeric type, then the second field on the other table has to be numeric type. Stuff like that. Okay? These can really help to simplify some queries and makes it a bit easier to write certain queries. Okay? So let's just run through an example, right? So this query, select S name from sailors, reserves, and boats. So I'm going to join all three together, and I'm looking for boat color equals to red, or boat color equals to green. All right. So again, try and reason this out. What does this query do? What does this query do?
Famous sailors that have a red or green boat.
That have reserved a red or a green boat. Okay. That's not me. That's you. Kind of freaks me out a little bit. Okay. What if now I want to find names of sailors who have reserved both a red and a green boat. All right. You may be tempted to do the first one, the first query, right? By sort of scratching out the or, putting an and there. All right. Do you think that will work? Okay. Some of you already see it. Others, why doesn't it work? Okay. So this is where again. So this is a subtlety in a sense, right? But if you go back to the conceptual evaluation strategy, then it'll be more obvious why this doesn't work, right? Because remember the conceptual evaluation strategy, right? The way to think of this is I first do a cross product of these three guys, meaning I pair them up together, right, into all possibilities, right? Then I go through that cross product row by row, checking the where condition, right? And if I'm checking the where condition, right, of a particular row, right, is it possible for B1 color to be equals to red and B1 color equals to green? Right? You see it? So again, if you think of the conceptual evaluation strategy, that's just one reason why I introduced that, right? Then this query doesn't make sense. What happens is that this condition will always be false because this is just the same field. Actually, it's the same field. The same field cannot be both red and green, right? What you okay, you can actually then rewrite this into a correct version, but it's a little bit more complicated. You have to cross it one more time with another copy of both, right? And you check that there is one boat with color red and there's one boat with color green, all right? But you probably find that this is a little hard to understand and it's a little cumbersome. So you can actually rewrite that in terms of set operators using intersection, right? So this is much cleaner, right? Because the first block, the first select from where block finds sailor names who have reserved red boats. The second block finds sailor names who have reserved green boats, and you want the intersection of these two sets. Okay. Do I have a more strict one? Now, strictly speaking, this is also not completely correct. This is where there's a lot of subtleties, right? Because you are doing intersection based on the S names. What you really should do you should be doing intersection based on the sailor IDs, right? Because those are unique, and S names may not be unique. So you can get some subtle errors introduced here. All right. So by right, you should be doing intersection based on the SID, and then grabbing the S names after you get the SIDs, joining it back with grabbing the S names from the sailors table. Okay. So that would be the more correct way of doing this. Okay. Okay, so that's all for the queries for now. Let me jump quickly into some of the update commands, right? So in inserting data, there's actually two forms. Both are insert into commands. You insert into your table name with schema, right? And you have the values keyword, and then you put your actual data tuples here. All right. You can also insert the result of a SQL query, that's what I have here, into a table as well. All right. So this takes the result of this query and insert the results into the studio table. All right. And here you can see that I also have a nested query here. And like I said, we're not going to be doing nested query, but this is a simple one, right? Where the nested query does not change with respect to the rest of the query. So it's not a correlated nested query. I'll select name from studios, and it's just checking that the studio name for movies is not in this set. Okay, so not in is a special keyword again that's checking for set membership. In this case, whether that element is not in that set. Okay. If you are inserting a big file like a CSV file into a database, you would typically not use the insert command. There will be a load utility or command, and that unfortunately is not standardized. That would vary depending on the vendor of the database. All right, IBM DB2 provides a load command. Oracle provides a SQL loader, and we'll see that in SQLite there's a .import command that will actually do that. Okay. If you do need to delete a tuple, it's delete from table name where conditioned. Right. So this is an example: delete from stars in table where movie title equals to the Maltese Falcon and movie here to this, star name equals to this. Right. So this deletes an entire row, or it could be multiple rows depending on your condition. If your condition is able to select a single row, it will delete a single row. If the condition selects multiple rows, it will delete multiple rows. Okay? Typically, we don't use, well, sometimes we use it, but not as much as the queries, right? Updates, this one you might use, actually, right? Very similar in format, you update table name, set the new value assignment, where condition. So again, the condition specifies which rows the update applies to. All right. So this case, this example, I have update movie exec, set name equals to press slash or pipe name. This is just a string concatenation operator in SQL. This is concatenating a prefix, a precedent prefix to the name, where the cert number is in this set. Okay. Let's see. And that's it for now. We're not going to do group by yet. So at this point, I'm going to jump to the exercise, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this in SQLite. All right, and I'm going to do it as SQLite command line, but I will show you briefly how you might do it with the tool, with the GUI tool as well, if you want to use that. But a couple of things about SQLite, right? SQLite is not a real database in a way. It's not a real database like the big one, like the big guys, right? MySQL, Postgres, IBM DB2, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle 11 or level 13, whatever. Okay. The reason is that it's a very small footprint database. It's typically only a single user, and it doesn't function like a server. Like you can't connect to it from a different machine to access the database. All right. But it is extremely useful for a couple of reasons. Actually, you can go to the SQLite website. Actually has a pretty nice. But I'm not going to go through all the arguments. There is a YU SQLite. Oh, is this the right one? Is this home? Oh, maybe it is. Okay. But anyway, it's there is, where is it? Frequently asked question. Oh, when to use SQLite? I think that's a good one. Okay. So you can take a look at this. There's a very well written set of reasons and instructions on when to use and when not to use SQLite. It's typically used, well, first it provides a SQL engine to process SQL, right? Secondly is it stores a database in a file format that happens to be very portable, meaning that you can ship that file from a Windows to a Unix machine and so on, and everything will work nicely, all right, or to any other kinds of machine. It will still work nicely. Hence, it has been used as a file format in many applications. In fact, many of your Android applications are using SQLite file formats, and even the iPhone as well, Apple products use SQLite as a file format as well. And then for me, in terms of data science, like I said, I like to use it just to do a lot of the pre-processing on my data. All right. So I like to use SQLite. I like to load all my CSVs into SQLite instance. Do a lot of SQL stuff there, and then I'll pull the data out into my Python scripts. Okay. There's a couple of nice things about that. It does help you to work with data that in total is too big to fit in memory. But if I only need a subset of the data at one point in time, then it's easy for me to work with SQLite because I can load all the data into SQLite. I can use SQL to pull out a small slice, work on it, a small slice that will fit in memory. All right. If you do need to do analysis where you need to work on a huge data set that does not fit in memory, we will talk about that later in a different class. We'll talk about sort of the big data stuff. That's where we probably will need to go to other big data tools like Spark, where you have a cluster of machines that each running a Spark processing node, and you can then actually automatically parallelize your analysis code over a big cluster of machines. Okay, so that's if you're looking for really large data sets. That's what we'll need. And I plan to devote maybe 2 or 3 classes on that, at least in this course. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm recording, so I should be good. So you can do some of this in okay. Well, let me just okay. Let's see. So we're gonna work off this schema, right? For relational schemas: product, laptops, PC, model, and note that model is the primary key, right, for all of them. Model will also link laptop to product. So product is like a higher level class, if you will, right? So every product will have an entry in the product table, and then every laptop will have will have an entry in the laptop table, and every PC will have an entry in the PC table. Every printer will have an entry in the printer table. Okay. But every product, whether laptop, PC, or printer, will have an entry in the product table. Okay? And let's see. I think the rest are pretty self-explanatory. Okay? I do have sample data given below. There's a picture of some of the sample data just taken from a textbook. You can take a look at it. Right? So first thing is we would like to create these tables in SQLite, and typically, like I say, I'm going to show you from just clear this. From command line, what you can do is I will type SQLite 3 and it will bring me into a shell, right? Oh, in this case, if you just type SQLite 3, it's going to be, you're connected to a transient in-memory database, so your stuff is not in files. So let's actually, you can either do a .open file name to open the persistent database, so let's actually do that. And let's call our file prod.db, for example, right? And then if you exit, you can exit by doing, I believe, Control D, or you can type exit. I think both will work. You're going to see that it created prod.db here. All right, so that's the database file that SQLite 3 created. And if I want to sort of, again, connect to that database, I can just type SQLite 3 prod.db, and I'm back inside that database, right? You can type your commands directly into this interactive command line. All right. So if I want to create a table, let's create the prod table. Okay, and let me make this smaller. Ooh, nice, good. Let me make this smaller too, narrower. Hopefully this is okay. Let's see, so I can do create. By the way, SQL is not case sensitive, so capitals or small doesn't make a big deal. Create table. I'll name it product. Maker. I know this is a, I'm just going to use char, and I know for the data set, well, 10 characters is plenty. In fact, I know 5 is enough. 2 is probably enough too, based on the data that we have. If you look down, it's all a single letter. So, and then I know model can be numeric, can be an integer. Type would probably be a string as well, and probably 2, 4, 6, 7. Again, think 10 characters is plenty. Oops. So, comma, model, int, and type. We'll do char. I'll just do char 8. And I'm not going to do any primary keys at this point, okay? But you can read about that and actually put in primary keys. And you can, let's see. Typically, you'll end your statements with a semicolon. That's the default end of statement thing, and you hit return. And if it doesn't give you an error message, it means you've created that table. All right. If in doubt, you can do your simple select. Select star from product, and there is nothing. So probably you did something, right? Okay. So I can try inserting a simple.
So,
Yep. Go ahead.
what is so, that's a semicolon at the end, as opposed to a colon, right?
Yeah, it's a semicolon. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for stopping me. Okay. You can, let me just do an insert first, and then we can go to the GUI if you want. Insert into product. If you don't specify the full schema of the product, it's going to assume that it's everything. Values. And I can insert some values. Again, for strings, they need to be in single quotes. Let's just do Z. Okay. And model, let's do 999. And type, I'm going to do unknown. And You can do up arrow keys to go to previous command. Now if you select it, you should see one tuple inside. Okay, inside that table. So I just put in one row of data pretty much. Okay. If I exit, let's see, is it exit? Oops. Nope, wrong exit. Yeah. All right. Database files, as long as the database file is there and I go back in, my data should still be there. Okay, so my data is still there. All right, so it's persistent. That's what we'll call it. Okay, so again, quickly, this is how you interact with SQLite at the command line level. All right. You can also put your SQL commands into a file and get SQLite to execute it. All right. So you would just, let's see. Typically, I would just pipe it in, but I'm not sure if that works on Windows. So maybe let's not go there. Unless you're using PowerShell, I think it will work. If you want, let's do .exit again.
So I know that I asked for that, but I figured out the command thing, so I'm gonna see
Okay, yeah, now just quickly show, if command lines bothers you greatly, all right, I'm not opposed to you using a nice tool with a interface like that. All right, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that, not at all. All right. So you can either create a new database, in which case you create a new file. But since I already created one, I should be able to open it, and if I can find it, that is, I think I know where is it. Why is this going crazy? The projects. Whoa. This one. I created the prod DB earlier, so I can open it in here. All right. And if I open it, it shows I have a table created. The schema is here. And I can, again, let's see, when I click this. This is the schema. So this is nice too. So if I want to query it, then I can actually type my SQL here. Select star from product. Did I put that S? Did I put singular or did I put? I'll put singular. Okay. All right. Oops. Let's see. I'll hit play. And I hit execute, and it would return the results in a nicely formatted table here. Okay, so this is nice. This is nice. Okay, this is nice. So same deal. You can if you go back to database structure, you can create your tables here. You can do a create table. So instead of typing create table statements, you can type it in here in this form. All right, and this will let you get away with not really writing SQL syntax, which is also nice. All right, so either one would work. So if I were to then create the PC table here, and I would, it makes the code for you. Exactly, isn't that nice?
I didn't do that. That's pretty cool.
And you can put the model here, and it's going to be an integer at field. Wait, what happened? Okay, I don't know why I did. Model. And okay, how do I change this? Okay, double click. Speed. This is real. Okay, and and so on. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK, let it create something, and I believe there should be a way for you to, it would let you insert data as well. How do we do that? Oh, it lets you browse data too, which is nice.
Modify table, so you like choose a table and modify it.
This is just either that, or I think you can write an explicit insert statement as well if you want. Um, but you guys can look around this and figure it out. Okay, um, so you can use this to manipulate your SQLite, um, and so I'm going to exit. So yes, okay, and then I go back to here because I'm kind of used to this. So again, now I have the PC table. It's got nothing in it. I can get rid of it, in which case it's gone. There is no such table. Okay. Okay. So at this point, oh, let me show you one more thing, right? I have the product CSV file here. All right, and I'm going to just show you how to import that. Oh, wait, let's just do this. By the way, a lot of the special non-SQL commands are prefixed by dot, and dot help gives you a list of commands, and dot help specific command will give you more details, I think. Wait, maybe not. Let's see. But you can see there's a bunch of things here you can do. You can, if you need, we're going to use import, dot import file name table. So this imports a CSV file into table. If your CSV file is not using commas as a separator, right, then you can change the separator using dot separator here, right, dot separator. Okay, so those are some of the things you could do. I think the default separator is comma, so let's do import product.csv. If you need to quote that, you can quote that into the product table. Oops. I think the default separator is not. Wait, what was the default separator?
For
Let's see. I think it's pipe. Ooh, yes, it's pipe. Okay. So now we have a whole bunch of let's do a delete from product where model equals to, I think you can just do equals. So do equal. Let's see. No, didn't work. Because it probably wasn't now. Where was that instead? Nope. That's a little strange. Hold on, wait, that's a number, so it shouldn't be empty string. Ah, I deleted everything. I deleted the one good tuple we have. Anyway, but why does it now work? No, this stumps me. Well, when all else fails, I'm just going to drop the table. And I'm going to recreate that table. Hopefully that command is still somewhere in here. Alright. And I'm going to change the separator to comma, and I'm going to try and import that again. And now I have everything.
So when you were importing the CSV file, was that CSV file previously saved on your computer in the same place that this particular?
Yes, where I started the SQLite. So I have it all in here. So if you would just download all those CSV files, put in the same directory where the CSV files are here. Put in the same directory where where you're going to do all your work, if you will, and then so that it's easy for it to find it. If you use the GUI, probably it will pop up a dialog box where you can choose where you can navigate to the file. But if you're using the command line, you need to specify exactly where to find that file. And it's easiest if you put in the same directory. Then you don't have to type in a full path name. Yeah, just makes life a little bit easier. But good question. So, can you guys take maybe 5 minutes to create the tables for the four different tables, and then load that table in? I mean, load the data into those tables. If you want to practice writing some update statements and some delete statements, some insert statements, that's fine. You can do that. But let's maybe take 5 minutes to. So I probably need to do that too. Just to be safe. Table, laptop, int, speed is real, RAM is real, hard drive, int.
What are the subject headers for printer? Because in the CSV file, you don't have them. And like when I downloaded it and when I click on the link, it doesn't give me the.
Yeah, these CSV files do not have headers.
No, I know. When I go to,
Oh.
don't we need to make the headers though? So they have. Is it the headers on that box you have up there where it says product?
Say that again? I mean, you.
Those are those the headers?
Yeah.
Color? Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I
Yeah.
import them into MySQL, I need that because it's actually assigning the first value in the CSV as the header. So I have to go to the CSV file and alter the header.
Ah, okay. I mean,
Data cleaning.
you should be able to create the schema on the site and then import the data, right? Using MySQL.
Yeah. But the problem is I need on the CSV I need to put in the original headers.
Really?
The first row gets
Ah.
imported as the header.
As the.
So like right now, the header on my printer table is like 3001.
Interesting. Okay.
True Inkjet 99.
That's for MySQL.
Yeah. When you import the straight CSV, you have to
Okay,
clean it up and
okay.
put the headings in.
Okay. That's fine. HD. Screen size is just going to do real. And price is real. And the dot import laptop.csv into laptop. This one. Create table PC. Int. Speed real. RAM. RAM is an int. Hard drive is int. Price is real. PC, PC. Create table, printer, model, int. Color is a string, I believe. Oh, color, no, color is true, false. I'm going to encode it as a string. Six, just to be safe.
What would be the other option for encoding true false?
So then you should look up the documentation. Like I said, some databases do not support the Boolean type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, some databases do, some databases don't. If they don't, it's up to you. You can encode it as 0 or 1 using an int or using a character as A or B or so different ways of doing that. This case for readability, I'm just going to do a string, not the most space efficient, but more readable. Type is a string. Let's just do 10. And price, I'll do real. In this case, import printer, CSV to printer. Okay. Okay, I'm done importing my data. So at this point, I'm going to skip some of the update statements and delete statements. You can practice that. But I want you to go ahead and start writing some of these queries and trying it out. Try and get used to writing SQL queries. Okay. I think the first one is really easy. I think the first two are easy. The rest get a bit more interesting. I think F is probably the hardest one for this group. And yeah, just do up to F. Don't do G yet. Yeah, don't do G yet. All right, so let's maybe take 10 minutes for that. Okay, so how many of you are done loading data?
How do I know if I loaded it?
Say that again?
How do I know if I loaded it?
Do a select star from that table.
And then just do the table, don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Just the table name.
I have
How do you do greater than?
It doesn't.
Yes.
Can you go back all the way to the beginning?
Okay. Which one?
On your terminal or on your
terminal.
code?
Yes. That's gonna be tricky.
So I put in Italy, very first thing.
Which one are you?
Creating
Creating table.
that's the first thing we did, right?
Yes.
So I should let's see.
Do you want, I did A right.
Sorry?
I think I did A right.
Okay, good. Yes, it does. If you didn't, yeah.
But I didn't create. How does it know what to put? So I didn't import. Where is this?
No, this is just saying that we're gonna store. This is gonna be the database file.
Oh, so what the open command here does it mean to open something that exists?
If prop.uni exists, it will open that file.
Okay, but if it doesn't exist
It will
yet,
create it.
oh,
If it doesn't exist, it will create it. So that's the default.
and then the next step then is to actually
Create
create
the table.
this, right? Just say create table.
Yes, create table name.
Okay, thank you.
I'm having trouble finding what the issue is.
Expect 3 columns to found one. Okay, this is the one that we did earlier.
Oh, so this is
The
where it's
separator.
Okay.
It's expecting the type symbol as a separator. We are using the comma, so you use the dot separator command
Yeah.
So you may have to get rid of everything, and the easiest way to do that is just drop the table and create table.
Oh, I've only.
And then you do the dots.
Where
You can do the dots as well.
So, and then, because in order to download the tables, you need to go to the same place, so.
Single quote, comma and single.
Don't know how to change that place, but that's
Yeah.
Wait, and
When
this
you
these
after,
are-
after
Yeah, these the one.
how to change when they're down.
And then
like what the default
Probably-
save place would be.
Just drop the,
I'm just wondering,
four tables, just reload.
yeah. Yeah.
that'll be.
Yeah, so remember the default separator is the type symbol, but our data is not in the type symbol. Okay, anyone having trouble? Yeah. Yes. For the homework, you should definitely use sklearn. Yeah. You don't have to use SQLite. Yeah. You can just read it off. You can just read off the CSV directly into Python. That's fine. If you want to go to neural networks, yes. I mean, yeah, if you want to do any kind of a yeah, you can use Keras.
Okay.
I mean, I would recommend Keras because it's higher level.
No, yeah, that's.
It's TensorFlow is really low level.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you could
Okay. Good.
for the neural net part with Keras.
Oh, and then for the evaluation, like, are we gonna use our own test set? If we just choose a portion of the data for a test set?
Yeah, so
Or
we'll-
choose one.
We'll talk about it later. We'll probably do cross validation.
Yeah.
So this is the way to chunks and
Okay.
cross validation. And again, I think Keras have some of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Yes. Yeah, so you just use the file. Use the file. Yeah, you created that. Okay, good. You sure there's nothing in them, right?
So you created
Yeah, I think you have to do the import. But change the separator first because the separator
oh, so
is
you just need
the default delimiter is type, so change dot
Yep.
separator.
But you can just, if you want to use
Dot
Okay, so
dot
you missing
separator.
is,
Yeah.
I'm actually not using this.
so you have three tables up.
I'm gonna
call them
I actually,
All.
so that's why I use it. But I can tell you, I can help you if I look at it.
What type?
I'm sorry.
It's got like,
Just don't close the commas.
So then it would be,
I have to go back and add
great, because you're gonna actually, when you go to query it, have to type in quotes that way.
Oh,
yeah.
So, it's gonna read.
I heard you go through the separator part and you got to it and then.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like,
See, I think if we have that, that's,
Got it?
so it's probably type character. Oh, it'll, but then
I
it's like a string.
Oh.
That's what I would ask my kids. But that's the or any other one. Yes.
So yeah, if you're typing in SQL, you need to end it with a semicolon. If you're using the dot commands, you don't have to.
Dr. Lipia, when you're putting in like true, false, that's considered a string, right?
Yeah, I'm just using a string here because
But
just
that
for
would be it, when
readability.
you go to query it, you need to put true,
Yes.
the word true or false.
Yes.
And then is it STR or STR?
Okay, so
Like,
me dropping
just lines.
No, here it's just in single quotes.
I think she means when you're defining it
Yeah.
as a,
Oh, no, it's char 10 or varchar 10.
So,
Yeah.
So char and query characters.
Yes.
and it's 4.
so we're 5.
Oh, it's a
So
max.
if you're done loading the files, you can start working on the queries. Hopefully, most of you are getting close to doing that.
or and then you give it in parentheses.
For E, it's just, you still are just using the product table
I've written my own function before.
for letter E, right? So
Yes, yes,
right?
yes. Yes, you have everything in the product table to do that.
And then if you wear type equals, we want laptops, right?
Just think about that.
Character,
If you have your
H,
like numpy dot
because there's printer,
and then
you close.
Oh, we could do
be a list.
select,
Yeah, now it's.
select, distinct,
Okay, anyone still loading data? Everyone still struggling with loading data?
maker. No,
Yeah,
not
so
distinct, distinct maker
worries.
from where type equals laptop. Wait, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, because, you're right.
Oh, the import is not. Oh, for the images?
So,
I guess.
I don't,
Yes.
I don't know what this error.
I think it
Oh, that's right, that's, I didn't.
So you can do up arrow.
How you doing, staff?
Yeah, so far you're just creating.
No, that's PC.
But yeah.
Again, it's okay if this is a bit overwhelming. You can always go back and work through this. The nice thing about writing queries with this then is that you get to type it in and it will show something right away. So what PC models have a speed of at least 3.00? You select model from PC where speed is greater or equal to 3.0 semicolon. Oops. Oh, I forgot that this is actually green on black is not good for the projector. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Let me exit. Window. Is it base? Basic?
How do I know for A? It says that make sure the model number is 999. How do I know which field, which column is model?
Model.
Model.
The field model.
Does it have headings? So that's like, I think you have to add them. If it doesn't have it.
You just have data in.
No, because the I mean, most databases, you think of the headings as sort of part of the schema, so it's not part of the data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have, can you identify yours with that?
I think so. You created the table, so the headings are kind of implicit.
Model is the first one.
Okay. Uh, where is the one? Where's the nice one? Is it Red Sans? No, this is that's no good.
When I created the table for laptop, and I should add it to PC.
Ah, this is the one I like. Sorry.
The colors.
Yeah, you guys should have yelled when I used green on black.
So, what is the command to import a table?
Dot import. See if you go to help, it, and then you can read about it. It's like it says dot import the file name followed by the table name. But before that, change the separator because the default separator is pipe. So change the separator to comma. Otherwise, it's going to treat your files as pipe delimited. Then you can do the import.
Yeah, my first one I had models with like and I just kept reading.
Okay. Everyone done with the first query? Okay, thanks, Nick. Who else is done with the first query?
First query, we just need task 3A.
Yes, task 3A.
The whole task, right?
Yeah. Task 3A, sorry.
Yes.
Task 3A.
How would you write, how would you write that query if you wanted to see the model where the speed is greater than or equal to 3.0, but you also want to see the speed next to,
You would do comma or
Oh,
put another
oh.
field.
oh, model, comma,
Speed.
okay, I guess I'm,
Okay. Good. Okay. Who's still working on one? Yay. You're not alone.
can you do the dot commands? That's not like SQL.
The dot commands are not SQL, okay?
So it doesn't need a stop command, it's just like a keyboard command. You can look at no, the dot is.
Or you can go with the
Right, sorry, yeah.
SQLite DB browser app. Okay, definitely keep going, right? Try B and C and D.
So I'm,
If I'm getting an error that it cannot open,
Probably cannot find those files. Are those files in the same directory?
that's what you.
it's not anything.
Oh, because you need to see product.csv. It needs to be the exact
Figuring healthy SQL user SQL.
So how can I see what these are?
Wait, do you have here?
This thing is too smart. It hides it from you.
I'll
it
send
treats
you
it as
the
an Excel file.
Um,
It's a
so your
.csv
folder
file.
on
How would you see that? That's a good question.
this guy.
I don't remember.
I mean, but just hovering over it like that, I
Users.
mean, it's a.
You here to see. Here music.
Okay,
Here
okay,
Kelsey. Spell Kelsey.
that's fine. Wait.
But you don't see in here your files, right?
There you go.
Oh no, there it is. Wow. Yeah. Okay, but where's the?
I mean, there's two, there's one in.
Yeah, when you
Oh,
downloaded it, it's a .csv. The
Those
problem here is that
Yeah,
the,
so
the Windows thing is too smart.
The prod
It
you're working
kind of
on
interprets it as a
the one that's
Excel.
dangerous.
We open my Excel kind of thing. So let's try that. So we cannot open.
Okay, now it should work.
So now it should see.
Just here.
Yeah, I got, I opened it from the search.
Oh, this is
Oh,
the separator issues.
Maybe.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
Did I mess up?
Oh.
Okay, so we need to do.
You guys do have a comment. I mean, it was semicolon. Yeah, but, but now I don't. Okay, so then you do that. But now.
That's right, I have the two tables.
So
when I
if
have
you,
the- if-
the way we open it is gonna actually create a database. Now you kind of create a database.
No, so it should come first. So it
So
isn't doing
wait,
first.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
why
you
that would be
didn't do that step
true.
the first time.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Just
So that I don't-
something to do with how
For some reason, yeah, okay, but it's size 0, so there's nothing there.
Yeah, oh, maybe that's.
Okay.
So that's where I was here. Where I had to.
It seems to be okay now. So you have to
This is
backtrack
where I
and
had to
all
drop
that
the
again.
tables. And then.
Oh,
And then you just.
Okay, can't try to listen.
Okay, we're gonna keep going, otherwise we're running out of time. Okay, second query. Select. Okay, second query. What tables do we need?
Laptop.
Laptops?
um,
Just, okay.
Yeah, laptops and products.
Because it has the maker. Right? From laptop. L. And another P. Where L dot model equals to P dot model. And what was the condition? Hard disk of at least 100 gigs. And it's greater. 100. That's what I got. Okay. C. Find the model number and price of all products of any type made by manufacturer B. A little bit more complicated now. Anyone done with that one? So one problem is you need the price, and price is only found in the, price is not in the product table.
So the PC or laptop.
Yeah. So you could grab the price from those individual tables, right? And you have a constraint on the manufacturer, the maker, right? Okay. So how do you go about doing this? So here's a thought. If I change this, would you be able to to write this query if it is not for all products but just for laptop? Would you be able to do that? Okay, that should be easier, right? Then you should be able to do the same for PC. You should be able to do the same for printer, right? And then now I have 3 sets. What do I do with 3 sets to make it into one? Section or union? Okay, we need the union in this case. All right. So that's going to be the strategy that I would take. I mean, oh, by the way, right? SQL queries are not unique. There's more than one way to write the same query. But that's how I would break this down into smaller chunks that I can solve, if you will. Right? So again, part of the thinking process is this thing looks complicated. Can I break this down into a smaller subproblem that I can tackle? Right? And then piece the answers back together. Right? So in this case, if I say find the model number of all products made by manufacturer B, that's a little difficult, but if I can find the model number and price of PCs made by manufacturer B, I know how to write a SQL for that. Right? I can do the same for laptops, do the same for printer, and then union them together. Right? So at this point, because that's a slightly bigger query, I like to write it in a file. Select model price from let's do PC and product P where PC.model equals to P.model and P.maker equals to B. Alright, what were the other constraints? Okay, that's it. So that's one of the queries. To be more strict, I should do this. And this one doesn't matter. I'll just do that. And I can, well, in this case, I can execute it by doing this. Oh, I forgot what I did. What you guys did. Forgot the semicolon. Okay, seems to work. So then I would copy this and I would do a union. Lots of space to make things look nice, and change it for laptop L and L. Oh wait, this needs to be L too. L and Printer, but P is already in use. So let's just keep L and do printer. See, will let me do this? Yep. Okay, so I have, oh, now the yellow doesn't show. There's no good color.
Is this, does Vim just recognize that
That
you're
worked.
writing, or is that? like,
Yeah, because
you have an add-on or something?
no, Vim should recognize, because I named my file .sql,
Oh, so.
so it kind of deduced that it was SQL. Yeah.
How many are we supposed to get for that one?
I got 4 rows.
I only have 3. I'm missing 2007. Where did that one come from?
What's
Take a look.
2007? You can go down and take a look at the
Yeah.
data.
So I'm going to PC table. This
It's a laptop.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's a laptop? What did
Find the model numbers of all color laser printer. Oh, that one's actually easy. Yeah. So skip D, try E. Find those manufacturers that sell laptops but not PCs.
How did you get? Okay.
Here.
Oh, you added in laptop. Okay, sorry. I couldn't.
Yeah.
The union. That I missed the union step. I was like, how did you get both? But I missed the union step. Okay. Got you. Maker. Let's go back to that. Just finish it.
Select maker, product, where type equals to laptop, accept, select maker from product, where type equals to, oh wait, PCs and small, and yeah. Oh, semicolon. All right. So can you guys try and finish up to F on your own? And we'll come back next class to finish up the aggregation part. Okay. And took a little longer for us to get set up, but that's normal. So if you didn't manage to follow in class all the way, just go back and kind of look at the video again and figure things out. Okay, that's it guys for today. Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, when I say performance, I mean the accuracy performance. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Just keep asking questions. I'll come back and clarify it. Sounds good. Okay, see you later.
Yeah, so nice, it's very, problems, but.
Okay, I will be around for a little bit, so.
It's here and it's really easy to smarter.
Yeah, I'm gonna recommend you use the GUI.
Is this right for me? Wait, no, not this one, sorry, hold on. This one. Well, instead of, so just taking the product, right, because you wanted all the, I mean.
You have a schema. Yeah.
Well, it's okay, I don't mind, because I just copy paste for now, I'm gonna change it to DSC.
This is right?
Yeah, for E.
You-
Manufacturers that sell
Well,
laptops,
you're not
but
gonna
not
use a
PCs.
union in this case. You're gonna use a.
I didn't, it's this one down here.
That's what I still don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I did my tables in here, and then they worked, so I mean,
Oh, I didn't need laptop actually in this one.
Yeah, you don't really need that, but that's just gonna get you the laptops, right?
Well, isn't that just find those manufacturers that sell laptops but not
Okay,
PCs?
there's already this table exists.
No,
Do you
because
wanna add the
those
CSV
some of these manufacturers also sell PCs.
This is a way to go,
Oh, okay, because I only eliminated their PC
Yes.
records. I didn't necessarily, okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay, so no, so I need to use the not or
Yeah,
accept.
I mean, except will be the easier
Accept
way
would be
to
the
do
one
it.
to use. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't lose hope.
Don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope.
Don't lose
Don't
hope.
lose hope.